welcome into episode 15 of Winnipeg Jets Weekly. I'm your host, Connor Hrabchak. If you've checked out Winnipeg Jets Weekly in the past, you'll know that I usually start off every episode by recapping the games that happened the week before, but the Jets didn't play any games this past week. They were on their all-star/player break, but the news didn't stop. They made a huge trade acquiring Sean Monahan from the Montreal Canadiens, and Rick Bowness, Kyle Connor, and Connor Hellebuyck represented the organization in Toronto at the All-Star game. So there's lots to talk about. Let's get into it, starting with the Sean Monahan trade. The Winnipeg Jets bolstered their forward core on Friday morning when they acquired Sean Monahan from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 2024 first-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick, which has a condition on it. The Jets have to win the Stanley Cup for that pick to be paid out. But regardless, Monahan with the Jets now. Given Sunday's line rushes at practice, he will be skating in between Cole Perfetti and Nikolai Ehlers on that second line. So far this year, he's got 13 goals, 22 assists, and 35 points through 49 games with the Canadiens. And if you're on YouTube and you're looking at that graphic, you see the faceoff percentage. You know Rick Bowness loves that. He's up in the mid-50s at 55%. He'll be replacing Nemeskov on that second line, whose faceoff percentage is in the mid-30s. That'll be huge for Rick Bowness. He puts a lot of trust in his centers on whether or not they can win faceoffs. We've even seen Adam Lowry take faceoffs on, say, the power play this year, because teams would win the faceoff, clear the puck, and the Jets would lose 30 to 40 seconds of their power play simply because they lost the faceoff. Monahan also skated on that first power play unit in the bumper, a spot that he says he's been really comfortable with playing there almost his entire career, and the Jets added some offensive punch. They got a power play guy, and Rick Bowness got his faceoff guy in exchange for a 2024 first round pick and a conditional third. Another thing to note with this trade is the timing of it. Elias Lindholm got traded earlier in the week from the Flames to the Vancouver Canucks, and you could sense that the trade market was starting to heat up, especially around centers, so the Jets made their move, got Monahan 35 games until the playoffs. If the Jets had made this trade on March 8th, which is trade deadline day, Monahan would have had only 20 games with the Jets to learn their defensive systems and build chemistry with the players before the playoffs started. This gives him 35 games of runway. Lots of time to learn the system, one that we know the Jets and Rick Bowness have been preaching all year, one of the best defensive teams in hockey. Monahan, his defensive analytics aren't the greatest, but I think in the Jets system, those will improve. And the 15 extra games that they'll get with him in the lineup, getting him ready for the playoffs, will be huge. Kevin Cheveldayoff held a press conference over Zoom with media members to discuss the acquisition of Monahan. Here's what he had to say about adding Monahan into the lineup.
You know, I think when we set out to look for something, we first and foremost wanted to feel like it was a fit with, how we want to play, who we are, from a character standpoint. He checks those boxes, very, very well. He's a mature professional player that, has, learned his craft and become a top player over the course of time, in the National Hockey League. And yet, he's still 29 years old. He's someone that brings a lot of different, like you said, a lot of different skills to the table. Face-offs for sure, are one of them. Can be moved around different spots on the power play. Has played penalty kill as well. Again, it goes to the kind of the theme of where we're at this year with respect to our depth and dimension. And this just adds to it. It's a player that the coaches can use in a lot of different ways. And I really think, again, one thing that you can really, tell about a player, like a lot of players get injured and over the course of their careers, but it's how they come back from it. So that, that's a testament to his hard work and what he has done to prepare himself, to continue to be an elite level pro.
There's Kevin Cheveldayoff on the acquisition of Sean Monahan, which he made Friday morning, and you heard him near the end there talk about how Monahan has been able to bounce back from injuries. Monahan has had some pretty significant injuries over the past 2 seasons. The Calgary Flames actually paid a first-round pick to the Montreal Canadiens for him to take the final year of Monahan's $6.3 million contract. Now the Montreal Canadiens are getting another first-round pick, as Monahan has had a bit of a bounce-back year with Montreal. Hasn't been playing with the best line mates, but still producing at a high level, producing on the power play, producing in the face-off dot. With Perfetti and Ehlers, I think he'll produce a lot more offensively, especially at 5-on-5. And I already said the defensive analytics, those are going to come up, especially in a system like Winnipeg's. Here's what Rick Bowness had to say after practice Sunday on the acquisition of Monahan.
Listen, we're thrilled to get for that trade. Sean's going to be a big piece for this team moving forward. He's a great fit for us from everything we hear and checked on him. His character, work habits, being a really good teammate. So he'll fit right into the culture that we've created here. And we're thrilled to have him.
And there it is, Rick Bowness and Kevin Cheveldayoff on the acquisition of Sean Monahan into the Winnipeg Jets lineup. As I said before, he'll slot in between Perfetti and Ehlers on that second line. And with Mark Scheifele set to return on Tuesday night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, he missed the last 6 games with a lower body injury. This is actually the healthiest the Jets have arguably been all season long, and they're adding Monahan into the mix. It'll be a really fun stretch of hockey to keep an eye on over the next couple weeks, so let's get into the upcoming schedule for the Winnipeg Jets. Before we get into that, make sure you're dropping a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Winnipeg Sports Talk, we're almost at 11K. Help us with our push getting to that 11,000 mark. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss videos like this in the future, and let's get into the upcoming schedule for the Jets. And here it is, the upcoming schedule for the Winnipeg Jets. Like I said, Mark Scheifele will make his return to the lineup, and Sean Monahan will make his Winnipeg Jets debut on Tuesday night, February 6th, against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That game goes at 6 o'clock. And then Thursday night in Philly, another 6 o'clock start, another Metropolitan Division team for the Winnipeg Jets to take on. And then they return home to take on these same Pittsburgh Penguins Saturday afternoon, Sidney Crosby, inside Canada Life Center. That should be a well-attended contest. And then the week after that, February 14th, Valentine's Day against the San Jose Sharks. That's a 6:30 start inside Canada Life Center. And then another Saturday night game. 2 of the top teams in the Western Conference. Both of them added a top 6 center this week. Elias Lindholm on the Vancouver Canucks, Sean Monahan on the Winnipeg Jets. That should be a great game. Come back next week and I'll have further details and analysis on that Vancouver game. But for the time being, this week coming up, Pittsburgh, Philly, and then Pittsburgh again at home. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you for tuning into episode 15 of Winnipeg Jets Weekly. Like I said before, make sure you're dropping a thumbs up on the video. While you're down there, drop a comment. Let me know what you think of the Sean Monahan deal. And subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 11K. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss episode 16 of Winnipeg Jets Weekly, which will be coming to you next Monday morning. I'll be breaking down the 3 games, Pittsburgh, Philly, and Pittsburgh again. So make sure you're back here Monday morning, and I'll hand out my hardest working Jet and my 3 stars of the week. Until then, make sure you're checking out Huss and Remus every day live on YouTube at 1 o'clock Central, and I will see you guys next Monday. Have a great week, everyone.